how to become the data scientist. So the data science is very popular, very demanding nowadays. Everyone want to become the data scientist. And what kind of the strategy, what kind of the skills we have to cover during in this my journey. So I definitely the complete roadmap. So the first question is, what is data science? Someone listen to other person, actually I'm doing the data science, so you can also do the data science. Someone want to like get a hike in job and suddenly take the data science course. So what is the picture behind this one? What is the exact strategy, skilled, all these things? So data science is a multidisciplinary blend of data inference, algorithm development, and technology in order to solve analytically complex problem. So the main reason and the main purpose of the data scientist to solve the complex problem, and how we can solve the complex problem. Someone is a data analyst, someone is a data scientist. So what is the difference between data scientist and the data analyst? So data science is ultimately about using data in creative way to generate business value. So you want to create the business value, or you want to take the data scientist does the exploratory analysis to discover insight. The main thing and the main purpose of this particular thing to discover the insight from the data, and uses various advanced machine learning algorithm. This is the main intention to identify the occurrence of a particular event in the future. We want to find out the future estimation also, like the we want to like forecast the stock market analysis also. So there are lots of factors are there, and lots of industry are there by which we can use our existing skills, but the existing skills based on the technical. So this is our data science. How we can do this? A skill required to become a data analyst. So firstly I want to discuss, like someone want to become the data analyst. So what is the difference between data analyst and the data science or a data scientist? So data science is a course, and data scientist those become a data scientist. Like someone is like doing something really data work on a Excel or a advanced MS Excel, like data analysis using advanced MS Excel. Like someone is using the charts or pivots and to load the data in Excel and to ready the reports. So it is a basic tool to analyze the data and to visualize the data. There is a limited 10,48,576 rows, and we can create up to 255 255 sheets. After that, data management with SQL and the no SQL. I will explain later in this topic what is a SQL and the no SQL, and what is the difference between them. If anyone, like if any students have any problem, any questions, you can ask me during the slides. And also the when we are able to handle the data with the data management software like the SQL or the no SQL, then we learn the data analytics using Power BI. So Power BI is a very powerful tool to visualize your data. And there are lots of factors are there, the reports are there, and the data modeling part are there. We can also clean the data. We can link the multiple table. So the Power BI is a product of the Microsoft, and it is your choice. You can ready yourself on a Power BI, and you can also ready yourself in a Tableau, because most of the Salesforce company using the Tableau. So it is just a tool for the data visualization. So that is the reason. So this kind of skill basically cover the data analyst. Now, data analysts using MS Excel, like in this manner, someone is creating. Those are familiar with the Excel. Type your comment in a chat box. Yes, I want to know that. Those students are comfortable with Excel. Type your comment in a chat box. Yes. Okay. Good. Type please. Only two students are capable. Adnan, iPhone 3 students are capable with Excel. Okay. So it is just a basic tool to ready your report on your existing data with the help of some charts and the pivots. But still, this software is not capable to handle the large data. Then after that, we will learn, yeah, we should have to learn the data management with SQL and the no SQL. If I'm talking about the SQL versus no SQL, so the SQL basically to store data in a table. And if I'm talking about the NoSQL, so the NoSQL data is not a table, it's just a files. And what is the type of the file? I will discuss later. So we can say that it is a structured data in a tabular format, and it is a unstructured data. So in this particular software, we can handle the large data, billions of the data we can handle on this software. So it is a database softwares to handle the structured and the unstructured data. So how we can do the practical on that kind of softwares? Now, it is the difference, the technical difference. In previous slide, I have discussed the theoretical difference, but what is the technical difference between the SQL and the NoSQL? Like someone is already working with Excel. In Excel, we are just using the formula like if, some if, etc. But if I'm talking about the SQL, so SQL is just a database. We have to write the query. It is a query. And the query, we have to learn them, we have to make them practice. With the help of query, you have to traverse the data, you can insert, you can delete, you can perform any operation on the data. If I'm talking about the SQL, so in a SQL, the data will be stored on that manner, the tabular manner, or you can say the structure. And if I'm talking about the NoSQL, so in a NoSQL, we have a data in a JSON format. So there is a no structure. You have added only the two record. You can change as per your requirement. It is very flexible. And what is JSON? JavaScript object notation. And what is the main intention? It is very lightweight database. And most of the e-commerce site basically using this particular database into your existing environment. And if you know, like if you know or listen someone, like to fetch out data using the API, application programming interface. So it is just kind of the data like SQL and the no SQL. In SQL, we have the data in an organized manner. We can maintain, we can handle the million, billion of data. But the all work done by the query. It is a query. And we have to practice them on the particular query, how we can create the table, how we can insert the value, how we can update, delete. And there are lots of operation, but we have to maintain the technically. Now, now the no SQL or the SQL. Again, we have similar to write the queries like the operations. So there are some software in a market. If I'm talking about the SQL, so we have a software market like MySQL, or you can say that the MySQL, or in a versions are Workbench, or the Microsoft company providing a SQL server. So these are the famous SQL software in a market. There are also some softwares, but I'm talking about two: MySQL and the SQL server. And if I'm talking about NoSQL, so NoSQL software market like MongoDB.
So, sir, for designing the database, so this depends only on the business case whether to use structured data or non-structured
Yeah,
data.
it depend on the business case. Like someone, like as a university. So
Hmm.
university, like student have to register yourself and to give the information. It is a necessary part for the student. So student always give the information in a structured manner or as per the provided the guideline on the portal. But whenever we create a e-commerce site or a social platform, we want to capture the clicks, we want to capture some unstructured data. So there is a no way, no schema there. So in that particular situation, the company choose the NoSQL, and it is a very lightweight as compared to SQL. But when we are talking about the large applications, we are ready the university, or we are reading the any government projects. So in that situation, the SQL is best. And if you are ready the e-commerce site or a social
Hmm.
platform, so that situation the NoSQL is best because it's very lightweight. It can be easily supported to the mobile.
Okay.
Okay. So this is the difference between. Now I'm going to next. When we are ready to understand the difference between SQL and the NoSQL, then we have to visualize the data with the help of Power BI. So we can create a dashboard. We cannot create the dashboard with the SQL or the MongoDB. It is just a data storage. We are also create some charts. We are able to create some dashboard in Excel, but Excel is not advanced. We cannot fetch out the million of data in Excel. If we try to fetch out the million of the data, it getting stuck. And most of the advanced features are not available. So that is the reason Microsoft launched the complex or a powerful BI tools, Power BI. So the Power BI divide into the three sections: the report view and the table view and the data modeling. Data modeling means we can connect, like someone want to create a report on a five table, like employee and the department and some projects. So the information exists in a three table, but I want to ready the report on the single. How we can do this? That kind of the thing basically called as a data modeling, to link them. So the SQL is also based on the RDBMS. You can say that. If I'm talking about the SQL, so the SQL basically based on the RDBMS, Relational Database Management System. So here, if I'm just maintaining the data in a different table, so we can connect to each other with the help of primary and the foreign key. But in a no SQL, there is a no data relationship concept. So that is also the advantage and the disadvantage also the NoSQL. We cannot link one and more table to each other. It is not RDBMS software. We can perform the joins. We can fetch out the multiple, but still a single flat file. But that is the advantage of the SQL. We can maintain the large architecture of the database, and it is useful on a applications. So depend on the company requirement, what kind of the tools company want to adapt. Now it is data visualization. We know very well. We can also load here directly data. It is not to handle the data. It is not a database. Power BI is just a visualization software, and it is not. We cannot embed the machine learning concept here. Those want to ready the dashboard, and the Python is not useful for the dashboard. So there are the different tool have the different role. So Power BI is the best for to ready the dashboard for the data modeling part also. When you try to ready the dashboard or the report, so you can clean the data, you can remove the null values, the data cleaning part, data pre-processing task, we can also perform in the Power BI. We can load, we can fetch out any data from the SQL, MongoDB, API, Google Sheet, any kind of the existing database are running. We can directly fetch out the data in Power BI. Any question, class?
So, sir, basically, we're just using the tools to clean up data and present these beautiful charts and figures.
Yeah.
So, after this, we send it to maybe, let's say, managers or stakeholders who are actually making the decision. So,
Yeah.
my question is, how can we go?
About the what the reason going on, the manager will not give the exact technical uh, answer, like you have to do this particular work. It will just asking me what is the reason of the attrition, can you fetch out from the data. So with the help of Power BI you can easily uh, fetch out the data. But when we want to find out the correlation, the relationship, like there is a relationship between the four parameter or not, so the Power BI is not suitable. Any question, class? Most of the work changed by the AI. So those are already data analysts or working on this one. So have to update yourself, have to learn the Python and some more technical skills. Because in future they are working on the DAX formula and ready the data visualization simply. So the AI replacing this task one by one, day by day. Because this work basically going simple time to day by day with the help of AI. Any question, class? Any doubt?
So, our company is actually using Cortana or Copilot these
So
days. What if we learn the lectures now and by the time we graduate, the technology gets outdated?
actually, the when we are using the Microsoft Power BI, so in the Power BI we have to ready the DAX formula. We have to create a formula like sum if something and the calculate. So we have to ready the manual. So I'm thinking like, can we create a formula by the machine? So I thinking I'm just going this particular thing and we are taking the help of the Chat GPT. So Chat GPT is not able to understand the column name of my existing environment. So after that we have to changes and to try to fit this particular formula. So like, is there can any be possibility we can embed the chat GPT kind of the services into the Power BI? Can we can write some prompt on the AI part and can ready the DEX formula, but it is a paid service. That is the reason.
Yeah.
Okay. Any question, class? Now, data analytics using Tableau. Most of the company, those company based on the Salesforce, not using the Microsoft products. Like those company using the Excel and the 365 and the SQL and the Power BI and the Google Cloud. So the Power BI is much better. But those company using some ready-made software, some Salesforce ready-made software, the on that particular situations, the company using the Tableau. So Tableau just similar look like as a Power BI. So data modeling part also there. We have to maintain some joins to fetch out the data from the different table. Again, we have to ready the text formulas. So we can write some coding part also. We can ready some formulas with the help of coding part. That is the thing that Tableau developer. So it is a data visualization tool. Mostly company using them. So all the things basically based on the data analyst. So the Tableau is like here the most challenging task is to create the measure. What is a measure? So measure means to create like some my formulae. Like I want to calculate number of male. So the male is like something 250, 250, and I want to calculate number of female. I want to calculate the number of employee department wise. So we want to calculate all the value and we want to store them in different. When we are ready the dashboard, we can use them. But the measure create with the help of formulae or a DEX formulae, and it is a time taking process. So in that situation, the company using the AI part to making the task easier. But it is a paid service. Most of the company, some company using them, some companies not using them. Any question, class? Okay. Now, now skill required to become a data scientist. What kind of the skills required? So those want to work the working with Python. So firstly have to ready the Python environment. The Python environment like Anaconda, Jupyter, Notebook, or GitHub. GitHub is a cloud platform where we can store our projects. So whenever we face an interview, so we have to show your projects. So two IDs very necessary whenever you looking a job in a market. First one is a LinkedIn, and the second one is a GitHub. Because when you complete the course, the company want to check out what's your working. Have you done any projects? Have you done any work? Like you say yes. So where the your work? Sir, actually I have work in pen drive. Actually the this time is going on. Pen drive is what time is going on. Now the time is cloud. But in a GitHub, it is just not a copy paste platform. You have to upload your project with the help of some coding. So someone is maintaining the GitHub, so we can understand, yeah, this particular person is like technical because the GitHub is maintained by the coding. A simple person cannot handle. And the Jupyter notebook is a web-based ID, mostly used the data scientist. And if I'm talking about the Anaconda, so when we are working with the Python or the R programming, so we require lots of the library. So inside the Anaconda, lots of the library are already available. No need to install manually. So these are the environment, the Python environment or the R environment require. First, second, Python for data science with NumPy. We have to learn some library like NumPy to ready some single dimensional array, multi-dimensional array, numerical Python. The full form is numerical Python. So we can create a matrix. Another side in Python we have a list, but list is very slow as compared to NumPy. NumPy is 50 times faster as compared to list. SciPy, when we want to try some statistical things or a scientific work or advanced level of statistics like hypothesis testing, so we require such kind of a library SciPy. We can also apply some basic statistical work with NumPy, but we can perform only the small descriptive work of the stat like mean, mode, median, etc. till to standard deviation, quartile, skewness, etc. And after that, we have to cover the pandas. So panda is a library for handling the data in Python to load the data, to clean the data, to fetch out the data, to perform some group by, some joins, some filtration, to remove some null values, to drop them. So that kind of the work perform the panda in a data, but still we cannot start directly to the panda in Python. We have to start from scratch. Those are new in data science. And I repeat my word again, it is a technical course. We have to cover all the theoretical part to technical, not the theoretic. So that's the why actually I'm giving the complete knowledge. Uh, what kind of the skills you have to cover in the entire course?
Sir, if a person wants to go to a particular industry, let's say financial services,
Yeah,
so do you gonna pivot that, or what's the strategy on that?
yeah. Actually,
Because we
it based on the person. Like if they are sufficient to become the analyst, so can learn the BI tools, etc. Some sequels. And
how to get the industry knowledge then? If we need to go to let's say e-commerce, I don't have any experience in e-commerce, but I want to go there. So how do I? The tools are easy. How do I know the subject?
actually, the domain knowledge should be there. Like if
Yeah,
you want to
how to get
become the
that?
yeah, you want to ask me some.
No, please continue.
Okay.
Sorry.
Like if you want to analyze any data in a stock market or in a financial, so the domain knowledge should be there. Like the we if I'm just handling the accounting data, so the asset, liability, income, expense, trial balance, trading, profit, balance sheet, and the GST, TDS. So that kind of domain knowledge should be there. If I'm talking about the stock market, so in the stock market we should be like dividends and the share. So that kind of the thing should be there. And what is the factors to down the shares and what is the factor to this one. So firstly we have to study them. We have to capture the basic domain knowledge. Then we have to apply the tools. Okay. So now Python is just a tool to handling the data, to take the insight from the data, and we can apply in a different sectors. It depend on us. It depend on your existing domain, existing knowledge. If someone like in some previous class like mm, yeah, Karnwar is saying that actually I'm just working in a petroleum, so they want to use the this existing uh, skills in your petroleums. So the petroleum knowledge should be there. That is the reason. So the NLP part, like natural language processing, to analyze the text. Like if I'm just saying how the Google algorithm understand all this work, what is NLP? Like Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, it's just example of this one. Gmail, Gmail suddenly if I'm just those are sending a mail, so suddenly it will just spamming them. It will isolate in a spam folder. How? It's just learning the text. So that kind of thing, basically natural language processing. Matplotlib is a data visualization library to visualize the data. But the Matplotlib library is a basic library. We can visualize the data with the chart like bar chart, pie chart, histogram chart, line chart, scattered plot, etc. But we cannot use some advanced level of charts. So that is the reason we have to move forward into the Seaborn library or a Plotly. So these three library are the data visualization library inside the Python. When we are talking about to web scraping with Beautiful Soap. So Beautiful Soap is a library in a Python to scrap the data on the website. Like take an example. Someone want to ready a website to scrap the data, like where the data science jobs occur, how many jobs are there. Just take the example of the LinkedIn. When you type the data science job in a search area, so it will count the how many jobs are there. You can take the example on a LinkedIn. And I want to ready a profile like someone post a data science jobs. So I want to scrap the data science particular keyword on this post. So I want to scrap the data, but it most of the person like doing this particular work illegal. You have to fetch out the data with the permission of the owner of the website, not to scrap the data. Because if you are just making the request with the help of some uh, library. So if I'm talking about in Python, we have a beautiful soft. If I'm talking about in R programming, we have a request library. So whenever we make a request to the Facebook, to the Twitter, so it will just understand, yeah, actually you are getting a request so many times. It will block your request. But most of the website are not powerful. Server is not like a very uh, configurable. So we can scrap the data with easily with the help of some library. Now the statistics hypothesis testings are there. Before starting the machine learning part, firstly we have to analyze the data. Like there is any particular thing is exit or not. It is true or false. Like hypothesis testing. I want to compare the two sample. One company's challenge, my medicine is best. Second company is also challenge, my medicine is best. How we can check? So we check the sample of data, we check the age criteria, number of sample, then the only the two situation. This particular result is okay or not. Null hypothesis is there or a alternative. So in that situation, we have to use the statistics or hypothesis testing area. Now the regression analysis, and it is to find out the trend or the relationship or a correlation between the data. So these are relation regressions with the help of scikit-learn, or you can say that a machine learning concept. When we are ready to learn the data relationship concept, we have to specify the classification or classify the data. Those data are just similar. So also some clustering technique like K means, bagging and boost, K nearby. So these are the algorithm in a Python to cluster those data are nearby, to ready the clusters and to perform the testing and to check out the accuracy. So that kind of a thing only done in the Python or a programming, not in a Power BI. If I'm talking about the R programming with statistics, hypothesis, statistics testing, regression analysis, and the business analyst. So most of the person like say business analyst. So main focus on a statistics. So in some area, the data scientist can use the R, especially for the statistics. So that kind of thing you have to cover in your entire journey. Are you getting my point, class? Any question?
We got it. I got it.
Okay. I hope you are understand in my today class all these things which we have to cover in your entire journey. But you have
Please,
to promise
a
one
quick
more,
question.
like you have
Mhm.
to complete your technical work, whatever I explain in the class. How we can compare all the values, how we can find out the relationship. So we want to automate them. So we can automate with the help of Python. Okay,
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
welcome. So now class, I want to take a 5 minute break, then I will continue until you can also take a break. Okay. In Python, like Python, SciPy, Matplotlib. In Python, we can maintain list, tuple, set, dictionary, TensorFlow, Seaborn, NumPy, Panda, Keras, Plotly, Scikit-learn. So these are the library which we have to cover in Python for some data manipulation work. Now, Pandas used for data analysis and the manipulation. NumPy used for mathematical function. Matplotlib used for data visualization. Seaborn is also used for the data visualization. TensorFlow is a machine learning library. Keras is a deep learning library. SciPy is a scientific computing. And PyTorch is also the machine learning library. Scrappy is a library for to web scraping and the SQL model to fetch out the data from the SQL. So these are the library available in Python. No other language are there. Some other languages market is also there like C, C++, Java. But in data science, AI, ML, only Python choose. What is the reason? Anyone want to explain? What is the reason behind this? If market already available some other language, so why the Python is choose?
What's the question? Why what?
Why the Python choose for the data science and AI ML? Most of the company like Google, Facebook, etc. So all the machine learning library develop in the Python, not to develop in any other programming language.
So it was started by Google. But overall, a simplicity of use, I think.
Yeah,
First time learn can easily go through. C++ is high level.
yeah,
Uh, it's a tough one to go through.
yeah. Actually,
But sir, these tools are coming up. Let's say technology gets tripled in 1 year, right? Now, a lot of these whole list of libraries are there. So this tech stack will go on increasing day by day as soon as we find out the new discoveries, whatnot. So what is a fundamental thing here that we should stick to, so that will help us to boost our upcoming journey
Yeah.
for data science?
Actually, whenever some new machine learning library come, so it will just increase some accuracy. So what is the accuracy? Like some machine learning library work on a particular data. Like I'm taking example, like it can be suitable on a 1 million data. Give the exact accuracy. When the data become 2 million, the accuracy will not be stable. So in that situation, the company or the particular thing launch a new library to remove the loopholes in these particular things. So the different library have a certain different roles. So when we learn, so no need to write the manual code. So that is the reason if some mathematician, statisticians are working the manually, but now the time to change your existing skills to the practically, but the all thing done by the coding. Now, if I'm talking about Python, in Python we can use ID Jupyter notebook inside the Anaconda. So whenever we write any code, so the code in a Python look like this. It is a code in Python. With the help of Python, we ready the chart. It is a chart like a column chart. So when we load the data in Python, we are not come to Python to just visualize simple data. We come here to find out the trends, to work on a complex data, because some basic thing we can perform by Power BI tool, etc., and some Excel. But the complexity on the data we can also find out with the help of coding. So that kind of the pictures, it's a column chart and it is a pie chart. So we load the data like the matplotlib for the data visualization, numpy for create the matrix or the array and to give the title and to show them. But there is no drag drop concept in a just in a Power BI or Excel. So in there we have a drag drop concept. SQL is not a drag drop concept. In SQL we have to write the query. But in Python or in R programming, we have to write the coding and the all manipulation done by the coding with the help of library. So that is the reason it is a internal pictures of the Python. And you have to ready the Anaconda and kindly install the Anaconda and the Jupyter notebook in my next class. I'll give the all uh, guidelines and the installation steps to ready all existing software. Any question, class? Okay. So now,
I have question.
yeah.
Um, my question: How? What criteria to select? We use or Excel or SQL or Python some libraries.
Actually, the Python is not a data, it's a programming. We can load any data in Python. We can load Excel file in Python. We can load any CSV file in Python. We can fetch the SQL data in Python. So we can fetch any data. We can fetch the data from the API. So the data can be any format. So Python is not just holding the data. To fetch the data and to process them and to visualize and to find out the machine to find out the insights with the help of some machine learning. Okay.
And also question about little more about API.
Yeah.
This
So the API, if I'm talking about, so I want to give you the clue. So now it is a thing, the data science concept, the artificial intelligence, like the machine learning. So there are lots of libraries are there. During this journey, we have to cover some libraries. So different work, we have a different libraries. The data science and the data exploration, some algorithms are there, classification algorithms, regression algorithms, associations algorithms are there, and the clustering algorithms are there. So these are the libraries available inside the Python. Now, statistics with R programming. Like someone want to perform some statistical work. Statistical work we can also perform in Python, not a problem. But if we want to especially on the statistics, no other thing we want to do them. So if I'm talking about the R programming, so we have some packages like tidyr, plotly, ggplot2. So ggplot2 is very useful recommended library in R programming for the data visualization. tdtext, gggraph, stringer, dplyr package for the data manipulation. There are lots of packages available in R programming to handle, to manage the data. So R programming have sound packages for the statistics, but all work, again I repeat, the technically coding work. How? So it is basically a chart or a ID R Studio. So R Studio look like a ID just a Jupyter notebook, or some developer use the VS Code or a PyCharm or some other IDs. But the VS Code and the PyCharm ID is best for the development part, not the data scientist. So for the data scientist, the data scientists require a web-based ID. Those ID can run on a web or a browser. So understanding the RStudio ID. So the RStudio is a not a R programming. RStudio is not a R programming. It is just providing an environment, giving a help to ready the R programming code. So the RStudio divided into the four part. First part is a where we have to write the script, where we have to write the coding. Second one part is a area where all the or environment area, whenever we assign the value, so it will store here. We can clear, it's a temporary area. So whenever we perform any task with the help of coding, so the output will be display here. This area is output or console, you can say that. Now it is a area where you can check out the file, you can check out the packages or existing packages. So the RStudio divided into the four section. First section is a area where we have to write the code. It is a area where all variable values are stored, and it is a console area, and it is a area where we can check out all the packages which we are using. Any question, class? The RStudio we can also perform inside the Anaconda. If you run the Jupyter notebook or the RStudio outside the Anaconda, so you have to install all the packages manually. If I'm talking about in Python, we have to install with the help of pip command, pip install and the package name. And if we are talking about R programming, we have to install them, packages install and the package name. So both language are open source and used in a data scientist. Only two languages are sufficient, and the syntax is easy, but easy as compared to other language. Not so easy, not easy just like Excel. Easy, we can say that. Actually, the market is looking a particular programming language because the Java is already in a market, and the market is very vast of a Java. Why the Python is used? The reason is that the simplicity. We want to cover both kind of the employee, like technical and the non-technical. So technical can easily adapt all the technical things, but the non-technical have to face some challenges, like the coding part. They're scared. So that is the reason most of the company choose the Python, because the Python syntax is very easy as compared to some other programming language. But easy as compared to, not fully easy. We have to at least write the code and to perform some with the help of function. We just have to ready. We just have to learn the useful uses of the particular library, not to copy them. Just have to clear your concept. So it is all about the R Studio. So R Studio we will use in our programming later. So after, what is a career opportunity? If you covered all these things, you can become the data scientist, you can become a data engineer, you can become a data analyst, and you can become a business analyst and the data visualizer also, like someone is knowledge only the BI tool. But on a single tool we cannot cover. Like someone want to learn the BI tool, so have to cover the SQL part also, because we without the SQL not able to understand the complex things. Complete thing you can, when you complete all these things, then you are capable to perform all the uh, tasks related to the data. So these are the thing in a market. Like most of the candidate are confused. So, sir, what is a data science, what is a data engineer? So data engineer fully focus on the data, and data analyst just focus only the to visualize the data and to create some DAX formulae and to create the measure and to ready the dashboard. That's enough. And the business analyst to ready the SQL and to ready the BI tools and to use some R programming only, or the R basically. And the data visualizer only the BI tool. And the data scientist is a complete whole part. And it depend on you how many things you want to cover. It's my personal experience. Those are doing all these things practically, like giving the time in your entire journey. You have to give only the 1 hour per day in your jobs, beside the jobs. Only the 1 hour. You're practically. Then you feel confident. Yeah, actually, I'm just understanding all these things. But if you just ignore the practical work, just taking the class, taking the class, taking the class, so you are not able to, after 2 week, 3 week, or 1 month, not able to understand the some advanced thing which I will discuss in some next class, because all these things are going to technically. So now I want to provide you some steps, some guidelines to install the software.